everyone, and welcome to Halo Xplored, a new series on the X to Interact YouTube channel where we rank and review each mainline Halo game up to the release of Halo Infinite. I'm your host, Eric, and today I'm joined by Gaff and Sam, and today we're going to be reviewing Halo Combat Evolved. So let's see. We're going to go over like a little overview, like the facts and development first. So, Combat Evolved released on November 15th, 2001. It's obviously a first-person shooter developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft Game Studios back then. Obviously, it was a launch title for the original Xbox. It did eventually get a release on Windows and Mac in 2003, and then it got a remake in Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, which released 10 years later on November 15th, 2011. And the Anniversary Edition is basically what's used for the Halo Combat Evolved, for the Halo Master Chief Collection. So, before we begin with like the facts and stuff, do you guys have like any thoughts about Combat Evolved real quick? Like quick thoughts before we go in more in depth?
The game that started it all, man. And for good reason. Because it's solid. I mean, for the time, it must have been great. But even now, as a first-person shooter, I'd say it's just solid.
It's solid, sure. It's a game that I respect its legacy, but I don't know if it's for me or not. We'll find out, I guess, more about that later in this video.
Yeah, when I was playing it, like I think it was like last week or something, I respect its legacy, but like you can like see where the game ages a bit, especially like towards like the later half, which we'll get into. The gunplay I still think is like pretty fun, but like as you can tell, like a lot of the assets like in the game are like reused, and like there's like a level in the game that I'll get into later that I absolutely do not enjoy at all. Right now, I'm gonna start off with the development history of the game. Halo, as we knew it, didn't start out like development that way. Bungie began development of what would become Halo in 1997. The game initially started as like an RTS game that turned into a third-person shooter, then turned into the first-person shooter that we know today. After Bungie released the game Myst 2 Soulblighter, they wanted to make a sci-fi RTS game like StarCraft and Total Annihilation, which I don't know anything about Total Annihilation, never heard of it, but that's what the facts say. Starting with a team of 3, they originally started to design the RTS with a focus on the science fiction, realistic physics, and 3D terrain. Funnily enough, the project's working title was Monkey Nuts. And then they changed it to Blam because one of the devs didn't want to tell their mom the name was called Monkey Nuts.
Oh, Blam was okay. Blam.
Oh man, yeah. There's a history with this game. Any more things that Sam before I go on?
No, that's it.
Okay, yeah, just Monkey Nuts, yeah. When developing the game, Bungie was trying to find a better way to control the vehicles. They found that it'd be more fun for for players to drive the vehicles rather than like the computer doing it like an RTS normally does. So they brought the camera angle down closer and then closer until it was like no longer an RTS. So then by mid-1998, the game became a third-person shooter, basically.
Honestly, I think I would have been fine if they just left it to where the game controlled the vehicles. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And the last level wouldn't have been nearly as fun then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then you just wouldn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It'd just be a cutscene.
Yeah, the Warhogs did not control as well as I remember, that's for sure. Bungie's executive vice president at the time, Peter, I think he pronounced it Temti, I don't know how you pronounce it. He used his contacts at Apple to get Jason Jones and Joseph Staten an audience with CEO Steve Jobs.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was really, really crazy back then. Jobs was impressed with the game, and he agreed to debut the game at 1999 Macworld Conference and Expo. And like a lot of this next stuff is like pretty surprising. Like game dev back then and like game dev compared now is like really different. So back then, like just a few days before the conference, the game still didn't have a permanent title. Bungie had to hire a branding firm to try to get a name, which they pitched Covenant. But Bungie artist Paul Russell suggested Halo, even though some people didn't like the name because it sounded too religious or like a woman's shampoo. Which I can agree with the religious part, but a woman's shampoo, I mean, I guess kind of sounds like Dove.
Agree with that.
I don't know, yeah.
It was 1999.
Yeah, 1999 is really weird. But then they had to get music for this thing too. So composer Marty O'Donnell was tasked with creating the music for Halo's debut in just a few days. Staten told O'Donnell that the music should give off a feeling of ancient mystery. So O'Donnell went with like a Gregorian chant and performed vocals alongside additional singers. Do you want to say
What a great
something, Sam?
decision.
That guy is the MVP of this game.
For sure, yeah. That Halo theme song is iconic.
Iconic.
100%. Let me see. Yeah, he went with like Gregorian chant, which we said before, and the music was recorded and sent to the show the same night it was finished. That's insane.
Turn it in before the deadline, like most
Like,
college students.
Yeah, this is game dev was ridiculous back then. I don't think you would see shit like that now, with maybe like
I don't know.
exceptions. Maybe a few
I think
exceptions, but
No, actually, I don't know if you guys watched the documentary about the development of God of War 2018, but they like just threw together that fucking demo that when they revealed the game. They like kind of threw that together pretty like last minute.
oh, yeah, I heard about it. I haven't watched it though. It's got to be really
Yeah.
interesting though.
Guess times haven't
Yeah.
changed.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right about that. Like, some stuff would happen like that, but like I feel like it wouldn't. They would maybe have like a week before, not like the day of.
Yeah, I don't know about this egregious of it,
Yeah.
but like
On July 21st, 1999, Steve Jobs announced that Halo will be releasing on Mac and Windows, and everyone loved it at the conference.
We are starting to see some great games come back to the Mac, but this is one of the coolest I've ever seen. This game is going to ship early next year from Bungie, and this is the first time anybody has ever seen it. It's the first time they've debuted it. And so I'm very happy to welcome on the stage Jason Jones, who is the co-founder of Bungie and the Halo project lead. Halo is the name of this game, and we're going to see, for the first time, Halo. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, Steve. Yep. Everything you're about to see is being rendered in real time on a Macintosh using OpenGL.
But later on, Bungie was in a dangerous financial situation during the development. Facing financial difficulties, Bungie contacted Ed Freeze, head of Microsoft Game Studios, about an acquisition. Freeze was working on developing the software lineup for the first Microsoft game console, obviously the Xbox, and they announced Bungie's acquisition on June 19th, 2000. So Bungie had to turn a Halo from like a loose collection of ideas to a full product in less than a year. Any thoughts about that? Because even that, like, you still see stuff like that happen to this day, to be honest. Like, a year or 2 years, probably. Like, we saw what happened with Anthem.
And it's kind of happening right now with Halo Infinite.
Yeah. hopefully that works out. I'm excited, but we'll have to see. So Jason Jones had to push to change the game's perspective from a third-person shooter to a first-person shooter. This was ensured that the game played well on an Xbox controller, as they said that the triggers in the controller felt like it triggers on a gun, and they wanted the players to feel like they were holding the gun. So I guess there's that.
Fair.
Yeah. Other Bungie products were scrapped, and the other teams were absorbed into the project to rush and complete it. Features like the open world and a lengthy campaign were cut to make the release date. As I said earlier, assets were reused, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like glowing arrows were added on like the floors and walls.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you can like
definitely.
Yeah, you can see them, and they were added to guide playtesters because honestly, if they didn't add the arrows, you probably would get lost.
Yep.
A lot of the stuff they look a lot of the same.
I fucking still got lost the first time I played. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
there's some levels like that where you can like still get lost.
Like, yeah.
I need more waypoints. I need Cortana telling me where to go more often.
Yeah, that's like weird. Like some levels had waypoints, but like not all of them did. It was like really weird.
I needed the monitors in the game to not just look like a little blue box on a random wall because I got stuck because I didn't realize I was supposed to like interact with a monitor at one point to open a door. And it opened the door, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" It was like literally an hour of just being stuck.
So this is a surprising one for me. About about 4 months before release, they said the multiplayer that they had was not fun and they scrapped it and then rebuilt it from scratch. And like that's kind of crazy to me because the Combat Evolved multiplayer is like pretty fun, you know? For like what it is, it's fun, but the fact that they built it 4 months before release is like kind of crazy to me. But anyway, some of the staff decided to sleep in the office for the last few months and to make sure that the game had made the deadline. So crunch, you know, that's inevitable. Like a lot of crunch.
That would be getting a lot of shit today.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Should never have to sleep at your fucking place of work.
Nah. But like, yeah, crunch. Like, I feel like crunch is like from back then to now. It seems like it still hasn't changed a lot. Like, you know, these studios are still crunching to get these games out, and like they really shouldn't. But I digress. So Halo released and was a critical and commercial success, selling more than 5 million copies by November 2015, apparently, or not 2015, 2005. Yeah. It's often praised as one of the greatest video games of all time and credited with modernizing the FPS genre, which, yeah, it basically like modernized FPSs on console, especially with like the twin stick shooting and stuff like that. And according to GameSpot, Halo's numerous subtle innovations have been borrowed by countless other games since, and it's obviously the game that made the Xbox popular. You know, it's the launch title, and it has to be Xbox's like #1 franchise. So, any thoughts before we move into the plot by Gaff?
Well, I 100% agree with that last statement. Halo CE paved the way for first-person shooters for just the rest of time.
Agreed.
Sorry, GoldenEye.
Well, I mean, GoldenEye was N64, one stick. You know, that's a.
I mean, all I'm saying is I wish first-person shooters were more like GoldenEye today than the.
Ooh, save those thoughts for the end, man. We'll get into our thoughts of the game.
I'm just kidding.
All right, you ready to get into the thick of it?
Yes. Gaff, explore the plot.
Sure.
It's the best I got. Sorry.
The year is. Damn it! Come on, Sam. Hey, give him a spot in the light.
Go ahead.
The year is 2552. Okay, and the game opens up with the ship flying through space, and as it gets closer to the camera, you see it's a massive ship, and you hear these words: "Cortana, did we lose him?" And Cortana says something. I think she says yes. I forgot. So this ship is called the Pillar of Autumn, and it's exiting subspace because they're on the run from the Covenant fleet, who are clearly the bad guys in this sci-fi futuristic world. They happen across a large ring world, and they've never seen one before. Aliens, big alien structures like this, I guess, aren't common in this universe. So the Covenant are hot on their tail, and because things are getting so dire, they gotta wake up their secret weapon. Their one genetically enhanced super soldier that is sleeping away in one of the cryotubes.
Well, 2 if you play co-op.
Yes. Yes.
Which is super awkward because, like, in the cutscene, like, for half of the cutscene, there's only one of you if you're playing co-op, and then it, like, switches over, and for some reason, there's 2 there. And it's like, why wasn't there 2 the whole time?
Wait,
I don't know.
is that like the only cutscene in the game that features 2 Spartans? I don't know. I haven't played the game in co-op, but I know like that's like one of the cutscenes where it shows 2 Master Chiefs. I guess.
Yeah.
So this is where they make you do the tutorial. I think it's pretty cool. They show you how to move the camera, which was probably important for people playing a shooter on a controller for the first time. Yeah.
That tutorial didn't exist in co-op. I was so confused.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I remember doing it because you like have to look up at like the lights and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember doing that when I played by myself, but it just like totally skipped that part when I played with my brother. I was like, oh, interesting.
They also don't do it if you play on a higher difficulty. I think it's good, and I think I wish other games would not even like give you like tips or stuff if you're playing on a higher difficulty. So shit goes wrong real fast. The Covenant attack, and you gotta get to the bridge. And as you're running through these halls, you get introduced to the bad guys, these alien fuckers that want to kill everyone on board. You don't have a weapon, so you can't fight them. But eventually you get to the bridge, and you meet Captain Jacob Keyes. He entrusts you the ship's artificial intelligence AI, known as Cortana, who is this little blue lady that for some reason used British mannerisms because they in the script they didn't decide what nationality she was, so she uses things like sawed off and such.
So correction, she's actually purple if you play the original graphics.
Oh yeah, that is true. The spunky little purple lady. Sorry. She goes in a little chip, and she goes inside your head, and you're partners, and you guys have a previously established relationship. You guys know each other.
Captain Keyes.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3, make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
And they gotta do this because Cortana contains a lot of vital information, and if the Covenant get their hands on Cortana, then it's all over. They discover where Earth is, and everyone's fucked. And fun fact, this is known as the Cold Protocol in universe. No AI can fall into the hands of the enemy. They must be destroyed. So everyone has to abandon the ship and head towards the ring world. And then Jacob Keyes, he gives you the best weapon in all of video game history, the Magnum pistol. Unfortunately, he says he doesn't keep it loaded.
Which is shit. There's fucking ammo in it. He lied to me. It's definitely loaded. He's a lying bastard.
The weapon's awesome. It kills things.
It's awesome. But like, it kind of shows how imbalanced the original Halo is.
Absolutely.
The best weapon in video game history. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh right, my goodness.
It's top 10, all right.
Somebody hasn't played the God of War trilogy. God.
Moving on, so you fight through the ship, and you make it to an escape pod with some Marines, and you jettison yourselves from the crashing pillar of autumn, and you head towards the world below. And then that starts the next level. You wake up and realize that everyone is dead. There's a fan theory that it was Master Chief that killed everyone because his unseatbelted body was just thrashing around the pod, and his several ton body was just crushing Marines left and right.
This is the first I've heard of this theory. Fuck.
It sounds true.
It better be true. I don't know how he kept himself.
Sounds right.
Yeah, so this level in particular is just a masterpiece in terms of atmosphere, because you exit the pod and you look up and it's not scary at all. It might be eerie, but it's this giant open landscape, green fields, trees, blue skies, and the great iconic about Halo, you see the ring world like ascend upwards the sky because it's a ring. That. And you see like these blue bolts shooting into the air, and it's very tranquil and peaceful. So I think
5 seconds.
And then Cortana points out some Covenant Banshees are approaching. So then, tension ramps up. You sneak away, and you eventually come across a warthog, I guess. And this mission basically has you rescue 3 different outposts of Marines. You can tackle like some of these outposts like in any order you want.
Yeah.
Eventually, you rescue everyone. Then you get the team all back together. The everyone that's still surviving from the Pillar of Autumn, they reconvene and they start organizing a defense. Then I believe we go to the Silent Cartographer mission, which is a badass name because the Silent Cartographer is the map. It's where the map is contained on this ring called Halo. I believe they name dropped the name Halo in the last level.
Well, with the rescue, before I think the Silent Cartographer, isn't it the mission where you rescue Commander Jacob? Oh
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So before Silent Cartographer, we have
a Halo lore nerd.
We have the level called the Truth and Reconciliation, which another thing. The names for like these ships, Human or Covenant, are amazing. So we get our first night mission, and it's also it can be a stealth mission if you so choose. I Unless
mean,
you're bad with the sniper.
I use the sniper a lot, but I still think they find you a lot. I don't know. The stealth in this game, I'm gonna admit, there's no stealth in this game.
Oh man, I was sniping people when I was playing with my brother a couple weeks ago. Sniping.
The sniper rifle is very fun to use. You're bipping them, you're shooting them in the head, taking out their shields and health in one shot.
Nothing's as satisfying as a good sniper shot, good headshot.
Oh, yeah. In this level, we're also introduced to the hunters for the first time. The two big green dudes that always come in pairs because they're brothers. And they're like mini bosses.
Is that a thing? They're like brothers?
Pairs, like basically siblings. Oh. Yeah, like they always come in pairs.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Hunters are mean, nasty, and you better be ready to take them on with everything you have. But fun fact, I think one shot with the Magnum in like their vulnerable spot in their back kills them. So that's a handy tip if you ever play Halo C again in the future.
Imbalanced guns.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You can put in the entire clips with the AR into them and they won't die. Well, one shot from the Magnum, they die.
Bip. Yeah.
Fun fact, if you have a missile launcher, that works too.
You're not wrong about that.
Just don't shoot him point blank like somebody may have done.
So the Marines and Chief, they managed to get into like the tractor beam that brings them into the Truth and Reconciliation. And we see the interior of the ship, and the architecture again is very alien and very consistent throughout the franchise. You got like the bulbous walls and like just the iconography. They keep it very consistent throughout the series. Eventually you rescue Keys, and then that's when the defense is organized. And then we get to the Sonic Cartographer, and that's when we get one of like the coolest openings in video games. Where
is this the beach?
Yeah,
that's the beach. We're storming Normandy, baby.
Oh baby, that hit. I don't remember that hitting as hard as it did like the first time I played, but man, when I played with my brother a couple weeks ago, holy shit, that was fucking hype as hell.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
You're mowing down Covenant. You take the beach, and then they give you a warthog, and you can actually drive around the entire island. It's a small island, but you can do laps as many times as you want. You eventually make it to the map room, and that's when the next level starts, which was one of the... I'd say it's very divisive because there are some hardcore fans that really love like the ambition of the level, just like how massive it is. But then there are those like me and Eric, and I don't know about Sam, who much rather skip this level because of how tedious it gets.
Which level?
Assault on the control room, which is like when it's the big snow level.
Oh yeah, fucking hate it. Never mind.
Hate this
there you
fucking
go.
level.
This is the one I got lost on because I couldn't find the fucking monitor to open a door. I hate this level.
It's like, I appreciate what they're trying to do. This level is massive, and you get to do like everything. You get to drive a tank, a warthog, you can snipe, and there are so many routes to complete the level. You can take a Banshee and go straight to the top if you manage to like take out the driver. There's an achievement for actually. There's a kind of a scripted moment where you open a door on a bridge and you see two elites like running for their Banshees. And if you kill them fast enough, you can take their Banshee and you can make the rest of the level so much easier.
Fun fact: the first time I played this, didn't see the tank.
Oh my god, dude!
I had to do this entire level with the fucking like.
You walked it.
No! I didn't walk it. What's the
Ghost Warthog?
The Ghost, right?
Okay.
That's the one. That's like the one that like hovers around.
Yeah.
Close to the ground. Yeah.
Oh, you poor thing, because the tank.
Yeah.
This is where we get the iconic lines: "Tank beats elite. Tank beats hunter. Tank beats everything."
Yeah, this level.
And
this level
what?
For me fucking sucked. It's way too long, and I don't know about you, but like I didn't see like a lot of health packs anywhere. So
yeah,
and like the way I play like the early half of this game is like kind of like Doom, where I just keep moving and shooting, and then that changes like in the later half when the fucking flood get involved. But we'll get to that.
I like the parts where you cross the bridges, but like other than that, Yeah, this level's not great.
Like every interior room is the same.
Yeah.
You get so lost because you're like,
Well-
I mean, thank God they put those freaking arrows on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, I would have gotten so lost. I don't think I would have ever finished it by myself.
When I was playing like last week or something, like like this was like one of the levels I finished and I had to stop playing because I was getting kind of mad at it.
I think it takes me like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and then
finish this level.
in the Master Chief Collection, it's like, oh yeah, part time 15 minutes. I'm like, how the fuck you finish this mission in 15 minutes?
Dude,
I'm sure there are ways to like skip a bunch of sections with the Banshee.
I swear those part times are all bullshit.
The brave souls that managed to get past this level, you get to the cutscene where you plug Cortana into the main hub, I guess, and she's absorbing all this knowledge, and then she realizes something is wrong. She tells Chief to go run and stop Keys from accessing that weapons cache that he's been looking for, because something bad is about to happen. Cue the next level.
So that was the level 5, right? That
I
was
think Assault in the
mission
Control
5.
Room is level 4, and then, yeah, we're heading into mission 5.
Oh, we're heading into mission 5. Okay, so maybe I did do this one. Because me and my brother played 5 missions, so my most recent playthrough of this game is the first 5 missions. But
On this level, we're dropped off by Fohammer, our great driver, pilot lady, into the swampy area. This, especially if you turn on like the original graphics, it is very creepy and atmospheric. You're alone, it's dark, and swamps are usually creepy no matter what setting. You head towards the point, this cave, and you come across grunts and jackals and elites. They're running from something. And at several points you see like dead Covenant bodies. And there's another point where you see like a couple red dots on your motion sensor, and then you see like 20 of them at once, and then everyone's gone. You enter the cave, and again, you're all alone. I don't think you fight. You maybe fight Covenant. It might be optional. I don't know. At one point, there's like a closed room where you see like human bullets and Covenant dead bodies like clumped together, implying they made like a last stand together. And there's blood all over the walls. And then you reach a door, and behind that, oh, before that, I forgot. There's like a crazed Marine who's like sitting against the wall. He shoots at you, and if you leave him long enough, he'll actually kill himself. You reach a door at the deepest part. There's this dead Marine, and you look through his helmet cam to see what goes on. So, flashback. We see Sergeant Johnson and Marines. They're in a Pelican. They're jamming to some old rock tunes, and they're with Keys, and they go through the same route that you do. At the deepest part, they open this door, and all these little creepy crawlies come out in a swarm, and they're everywhere, and they're taking out Marines. Everyone's like freaking out and running away. They're shooting, but it's hopeless because there's just too many of them. Everyone gets overwhelmed, and the camera cuts out. The flood crawlies come for you. And I first played this game, I think I was 13 years old. I played Combat Evolved Anniversary, sorry. Yeah, and this level freaked me out. Seeing the flood for the first time, in a game where you're used to just kicking ass and fighting sci-fi aliens, like this is a dramatic tone shift.
I played this game for the first time when I was 22 years old, and it creeped me out. I was scared.
I'm glad.
I don't like this shit.
And pretty soon after that, we realized we got to get the fuck out of here because we're peacing out. And then we encounter some flood combat forms, which are the infected corpses of our human brethren and Covenant elites. And they're coming at you with their big ugly tentacles. Some of them have guns, which is crazy because most zombie games, zombies, they're just slashing at you with their hands. But these guys know how to shoot you. Poorly, but they can shoot you. But eventually you come across a shotgun, and it becomes much easier to take them on. You make it out, and you're trying to find your ship again, and then these little robot guys start shooting lasers at the flood, and then you come across this floating blue ball. He's called 343 Guilty Spark.
Greetings. I am the monitor of Installation 04. I am 343 Guilty Spark.
And he's taking you on a little detour. Cue one of the most famously hated levels in all of video game history.
Yeah. Not a little detour. More
it's
like
not little at
long, tedious, and super fucking repetitive.
Enter the library.
Why is it even called a fucking library? Where are the books?
So the lore here that gets dropped, I think, is interesting. Basically, Guilty Spark, he's trying to get you to retrieve the index. So Guilty Spark refers to Chief as a reclaimer here. We're not explaining what the term means. We just know that Chief is one, and that means only Chief can obtain the index, because the index is the key in order to using the Halo ring in order to stop the flood. So Guilty Spark guides Chief through these never-ending corridors that go in circles and circles, and there are never-ending waves of flood coming out of holes, shooting at you, sometimes with rocket launchers. We're introduced to the flood carrier forms, which are these walking balloons that, once they take enough damage, they'll send out a bunch of flood infection forms. I think I'm the minority, and I can at least have fun with this level because I like using a shotgun and just blasting apart flood. It's almost like a horde mode for me, but I can easily understand why so many people don't like it. How tired, Eric? How tired did you get to play this before today?
When I was getting into Combat Evolved to play it for this Explored series, I had rose-tinted glasses on, even though I didn't play them back in the day. The first time I played Combat Evolved, I think back in 2015, I think it was. And going into this level, I was like, oh man, it can't be as bad as I remembered it being. And no, it was as bad as I remembered it being. One of my problems with this game that I have written down is its inconsistent checkpoints, where you'll die and it'll send you 3-5 minutes back, and then you redo that part. You die again, but I have a checkpoint way closer, and you wonder, what did I do differently that time? The checkpoints in this game are really inconsistent and annoying. The flood are just annoying too. They just swarm you, and it feels unfair at some points. And I was playing on normal too. It wasn't really hard, but there was just a lot of unfair shit. Another thing I want to point out is I don't know if this ever happened to you guys, but if you killed an enemy, that they drop a grenade randomly and it randomly kills you. Has that ever happened to you?
I don't think that's happened to me.
No, there was a few times where I shotgun an enemy, and a random grenade comes out of nowhere and kills me, and I'm like, where the fuck did that grenade come from?
Yeah, I hate the nades in this game. God, I despise them. They don't give you any warning half the time.
Yeah,
it's just I hate it.
I love. I use a grenade in this level, and then it'll explode, and then a dozen flood bodies will just fly in different directions. The physics are, at least they got physics in this game. Oh yeah, and I want to say the flood are cool. I think they're a very cool concept, but thanks to the library, they very quickly overstayed their welcome.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think the game kind of drags on once they introduce the flood. I feel the flood made the entire second half of the game just a lot worse.
Eventually, you get the index, and then you get transported back to the control room. And then the big twist happens. So Cortana and Guilty Spark, they get into a bit of a spaff. And Chief is like, everyone calm down. Cortana, we need to use the index because Guilty Spark says this will stop the flood and save everyone. Cortana says, no, you fucking idiot, he's lying to you. The Halo ring, it doesn't kill the flood, it kills their food. And my jaw dropped because, oh my god, the implications of that is horrifying. Why did this alien race build this giant ring in order to kill all sentient life in the galaxy? Why'd they even have flood samples to begin with, right? Why'd this outbreak even start? Spoilers, it's because it was for research. So Guilty Spark suddenly is viewed as a very bad guy because he almost manipulated Chief. Well, I guess not manipulated, he didn't lie. He didn't lie to him.
Who could have seen this coming? The mysterious blue orb fucking betrayed you.
You seem pretty helpful for 2 levels. Chief almost annihilated all life in this part of the galaxy.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. And then just end of the series there.
It's over.
So then we enter the next level called 2 Betrayals. The Sentinels and Guilty Spark, who were once on your side, are now shooting at you. And now you have to fight 3 different factions of enemies. The Covenant, the Flood, and sometimes the Sentinels. and they're all fighting each other, which I think is really cool. The AI in this game, especially for a 2001 game, is very cool. But this is unfortunate because we just have to play. They're making us play Assault on the Control Room again, but in reverse. You thought the first time was bad, try doing it a second time.
I just want to call out in this level. There's one flood with a fucking rocket launcher.
Yep.
And if you don't anticipate him coming, he'll fuck you up real quick. Thankfully, this is the second time I played this game. I knew, but when I was first playing this game years ago, I got so annoyed at that little fucker.
You got such shit aim, but then for some reason that one dude with the rocket launcher always nails you. Then the next level is, I think Cortana figures out that we gotta detonate the Pillar of Autumn, destroy the Ring World, destroy the Flood and Covenant, and that's how we save the day. But in order to do that, we need Captain Keyes' neural implant in order to like override some security thing, I'm sure. But Keyes got captured, and we gotta go save him again. And this is where it's quite obvious about what Eric is talking about. We're back on the Covenant ship, the Truth and Reconciliation, and the environment has changed slightly, but it's still the same layout. It's still the same ship. So yeah, we are just backtracking through the first half of the game. Limitations of the game at the time, they did a lot for what they had, but it's not amazing to play with when you're playing it in 2021. We get a cool piece of world building here because we come across Keyes, and he is part of a giant booger. So what happens is the Flood, they'll stack like smaller bodies together, but bodies with like knowledge in them. They'll fuse them together with the Flood biomass, and they form what's called a proto-grave mind. And a proto-grave mind like can control like local Flood around it. But also the purpose of this is to extract information from the bodies that are inside of it. So if you watch in Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, you can see the terminals, right? And you can see these little clips that 343 had prepared. And in this clip, they show Keyes resisting the Grave Mind's attempt to probe its mind. And we see all these flashes of Earth. You see Miranda Keyes, her young form at least. And Keyes, he's just losing the good fight. He's resisting, but he's gone by the time we get there. We make the choice and we punch Keyes' head, we put him out of his misery, and we get the neural implant.
No human life signs detected. The captain, he's one of them. We can't let the Flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect. What he'd want us to do. It's done. I have the code. We should go.
Then we escape.
I don't know what graphics you guys were playing at, but like I just wanted to switch to the original graphics to see like how it looked, and like that looks nothing like a human being in the original graphics at all. It looks like just like a giant blob. But then yeah, if you go to like the Combat Evolved Anniversary graphics, it does. You can tell it's Keyes in there, obviously.
Yeah, it's gross. Then we enter the final mission, the Maw, and
I'm sorry.
even though it's
there's one more thing I wanted to call out. Like later in that level, Cortana mentions something about the captain's vital signs, even though you already punched his skull in to get the neural implants. I found that kind of weird. She's like, Chief, the captain's vitals. I'm like, but we already punched his skull in. What do I have to worry about his vitals anymore? We just gotta get the fuck out of here.
We enter the Maw, and it's still reusing some of the first mission's layout. But I think there's a lot of new sections in this area, this level too. So kudos to them. The goal here is to blow up the ship's engines. Every time I play through this game again, I have the most awful time getting on those 4 bridges. You know, you gotta hit the button so it retracts, and so you can lob a grenade.
Yep.
First of all, jumping in this game is nuts. You jump like 5 meters in the sky. And you float down like a feather. I rarely land my jumps until I figured out that you can crouch as you're jumping in order to make yourself shorter so you can get on the platform. But also, I rarely have a rocket launcher with me. I know there's one somewhere in the game on this level, but I'm always too lazy to find it. So the flap's open, right? And you're supposed to lob a grenade in there. I'll throw one, I'll miss, and then I have grenades. And then I gotta go kill Flood until one of them drops a grenade by RNG, and then I'll rinse and repeat. And boy, I gotta do it 4 times. So
while being shot at by Flood and fucking Sentinels at the
yep.
same time.
And then you die, and there's a checkpoint, and you gotta do it all over again.
And maybe there's not a checkpoint.
Maybe there's not.
Yep.
Who knows?
Oh man, the concept of this level, what blowing up the engines is great, and all execution it missed the mark. But by the grace of God, you'll blow up those 4 engines, and then the ship's about to go. Cortana guides you to a warthog. You get into it, and then the music starts, and then you go on this final warthog run through the Pillar of Autumn because you're trying to escape its destruction. And guys, let me tell you, this is sick. Am I wrong?
I mean, if the Warhog is controlled like gas, it would. If so,
it's funky, but if you stay, there's like a path. If you stay in the middle, sometimes, it's a smoother ride. But yeah, it's not a perfect vehicle.
Yeah, this is another one of those levels where I had like rose tinted glasses on. I was like, all right, here we go. Here comes the badass, and then the Halo Combat Evolved, and I got in the Warhog. I'm like, oh, this is not as great as I remember it being.
Yeah, because this thing flips over like the smallest pebble.
Yep.
Just driving in non-driving games is like my least favorite thing. Just anything.
That's fair, yeah.
Like even Mass Effect and shit. My least favorite part.
So you got the timer going on, and it's counting down. And in the middle of the section, you stop in front of the bridge because you think you're gonna get picked up by Foehammer. But Foehammer gets killed by Covenant, and she crashes. And it's very sad because she's with you for the whole game. Most people won't remember, but it's fine. You continue on, and you make it to the end.
Anyways,
what's up? Moving on. Actually, if you want to like get the achievement for doing the run in like a specific amount of time, you're supposed to just keep driving.
Is there an achievement for that? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, just in the nick of time, you make it onto the ship, you blast off, you escape Halo, and it blows up, and it's all coming to pieces. And Cortana's like, "Oh my god! Like we killed everyone. Even there were some people we left behind back there." And Chief is like, "They'll be remembered." Something along those lines. The camera pulls back. He takes off his helmet, but you don't get to see his face. And then credits. Oh.
You didn't want to add the post-credit scene or the legend? What is the legend?
Oh yeah. I don't think no, it's not the legendary ending. What happens is, you see Guilty Spark flowing through space. So he survives the destruction of Halo.
No, it's like the end of Portal 2. Spoiler alert.
Eric, bring us to the next section.
No, I don't know if you guys wanted to say anything else about the story. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, Guilty Spark.
Story.
I mean, fuck that little guy.
Yeah, he's a little bastard. Yep.
Story's pretty cliche. It's action sci-fi. It's nothing. I think I said the only like innovative thing is the flood and the concept of the Halo rings. I think those are very like pretty unique sci-fi things, especially for the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like Chief, Cortana. I mean, their dialogue is fun sometimes, but Chief is like it's a pretty generic action hero in this that barely speaks.
Yeah, it's the 2000s for you, you know.
The Covenant. Okay, yeah, the Covenant as bad guys, pretty blah. But their designs are pretty cool.
All right, so if we have nothing else to say about the story, let's get into the discussion of the game in general. I guess like our likes and dislikes, our favorite guns, what we think about the level design. I think we already said that about like its repetitiveness and like assets. If we think it holds up, and then any multiplayer thoughts. So I guess I'll go first on like likes and dislikes. Got a couple of notes here that I put down. I don't know if this is like I guess this is a like, but like when I was going through changing the graphics between Combat Evolved and then Anniversary Edition, I never noticed that the sound effects were different between the two, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
we said this earlier. Too. Yeah, seamless. I think in the 360 version though, it was not seamless at all, because I played that version and it was not seamless. So it's a good thing when they updated that in Master Chief Collection. Like I said earlier, the checkpoints fucking suck in this game. They're really inconsistent. The soundtrack still slaps.
Ooh, baby, yeah, it does.
It was real good.
Yeah, it does.
Those drums.
Oh yeah,
Carries the game. Carries the game for me. It's the best part.
I do feel like some of the levels were a little too long. Like the longer I played, I was like, okay, this is getting kind of ridiculous in how long the levels were. Like that final level, like I didn't remember much of that level besides the Warthog run. And then going back to it, I was like, oh yeah, we have all this stuff to do first. Yeah. Sword elites, fuck off, please. Especially the invisible ones.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that shit. Like especially in I think in Truth and Reconciliation. Yeah. Where you first enter the ship and like they're invisible and you're like, where the fuck are they? And they come out of nowhere and fuck you up. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in Assault in the Control Room, when you're using the Scorpion tank, it seems a little fragile. I feel like you can like kill that thing really easily. I don't know if it's just me or not, but
so vehicles, you can't destroy vehicles. You can destroy ghosts in this game.
And Banshees.
But I don't think. Oh yeah, and Banshees, but no, the Scorpion I think is like it can't break.
I don't know, because I when I was playing through that level, there was like one part where like you're in a bridge area with a tank, and like I died a lot during that level, and it was kind of pissing me off. Like I said, the Assault in the Control Room fucking sucks ass. Put that with two betrayals too. That I don't know. That level fucking sucks. Fuck the Flood. A lot of levels are irritating because of them. And then like I guess it was only me who had this problem, or maybe Sam had it too. But like the fucking random grenades that can kill you out of nowhere. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. If a grenade explodes near like a drop grenade, then that grenade will also explode.
But I mean like there was like points where like I would like kill an enemy like I guess up close and like. Them dying, I guess, would trigger a grenade explosion for some reason and just kill me instantly. I'm like,
Bumble.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no enemies threw a grenade near me anywhere. How the fuck did I die from that shit? Yeah. Like, in terms of favorite gun, I mean, obviously the pistol. Like, come on. Even though it's like unbalanced, like that was like the go-to.
It's go tier, man.
My favorite gun, just because of the design of it. Apparently, it's not good until I don't know. Gaff said till like Halo 4 or some shit. I fucking love the Needler. It's such a cool gun.
Yeah. Even though people say the Needler sucks, I like it.
I just like the design of it and like the premise of you just shoot a bunch of things and then it like follows the enemy kind of and then
boom. If you read like deeper into the lore, like a Needler is pretty fucked up. First of all, it's massive. It doesn't look massive in Chief's hands because he's massive too, but in a human's hands, it's big. And it's like these purple spikes that'll shoot into you at like high velocities, and they're painful like on their own. But if you get enough of them in you, they'll explode and like rip you to shreds. Like it's messed up. But yeah, the Needler sucks in this game, gameplay wise. My favorite gun would go to the assault rifle. I think that I like the sound of this one a lot. I just want to
the sound of like the assault rifle, like it feels kind of weird because I feel like it's just like a rapid fire like sound going off, but like it's satisfying though, that's for sure.
And it holds 60 rounds, so you can just like spray and pray forever. It's a shitty gun in terms of like killing things, but it's reliable.
Yeah.
The music is my main for sure. The music is just stellar throughout and just gets hype. There are a couple times where it like will stop like too early, and I'm like, oh man, no, it's like too quiet. But yeah, the music hits so much in this game. As far as dislikes, pretty much everything else. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, dislikes. There's a couple of levels definitely are way too long. Well, I don't know that they're too long like time wise, but they just feel long because of the repetitive like environments and stuff like that. It was 2000.
Yeah.
Games still come out. Like Dragon Age 2 came out, and that fucking game had so many repetitive environments. It was insane. Not something that's super unexpected when you're going into it. That's all I have for that.
Okay. I was going to ask, did you guys mainly play like in the original graphics mode or the updated graphics?
I played an Anniversary mostly.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
The first time I played, I did not realize you could like switch on the fly. So I just played the Anniversary. And my brother inadvertently found out you can switch on the fly when we were playing recently, and he was very confused because he was in a spot where he couldn't see anything. It was like completely blacked out, and that's because he had the fucking original graphics on, and I guess that spot was just black. Like, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, I can see fine."
Right.
That's when we found out the sound effects are different as well.
So I didn't get a chance to play multiplayer this recent playthrough, but like, do you guys have any thoughts about that? Before I go into that real quick, I just want to mention that in the original release, Xbox Live wasn't a thing, so there was no online multiplayer for that game.
LAN parties.
Yep, it was all LAN, and then they added the online for the PC release, and then the Master Chief Collection.
Multiplayer, again, for the time, I think it was really good. Just playing 4v4 Slayer. Some good old fun. Capture the flag. The sandbox, like, it's just so good. You can have vehicles, like, play on Blood Gulch, you can have a Warthog, and some levels have a tank, a ghost. Actually, no. I don't think you can drive a ghost in any multiplayer. The level design for the multiplayer maps I think are really good. Yeah, you have Blood Gulch, which is massive and open. Then you have the smaller levels, like the one that we played. I mean, the super small one.
Dude, the fucking drops in that. Ridiculous.
That one.
Oh my god.
That map is pretty jokes.
You would you just drop in and get like immediately headshotted and just like terrible.
But the map, the second map that we played, I think was called Cold Storage, where it has like three planes, and you gotta look. Not only do you have to look left, and right, but you have to be aware of your vertical as well.
Yeah,
and it's a very cleverly designed level.
That's the one where I went ham with grenades.
So multiplayer, I think it's good. Even by today's standards, I think you can still have a good old time. It's definitely slower than a lot of people are used to, but I still like it.
I obviously don't have much experience with the multiplayer of this game. Most of it was in the 40 minutes that me, Gaff, and Steven played last week. It's fun. I mean, I'm not a big like first-person shooter multiplayer like person in general, so I don't really have much to compare it to. Because like I don't play Call of Duty, I don't play Battlefield, like I don't play all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's a fun time. It's in the same vein of fucking GoldenEye. Just putting my friend had a fucking what was it N64?
Yeah.
We would play that at school, and just a fun thing to throw on and just goof around in, And yeah, I think that's what this is.
So, the big question here is: do you guys still think this game holds up in the year 2021? Which is the 20th about to be the 20th anniversary of the game.
Okay, I'm putting all fanboyism aside, trying to be completely objective. I think if you ask your average gamer to play this game, I think most of them are not going to have a good time. It's probably is too slow for a lot of people. The campaign especially will tick a lot of people off. Yeah, I don't think it has aged perfectly. It hurts me to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the shooting mechanics hold up. I mean, this is the game that basically revolutionized modern FPSs. So, like the shooting in the right trigger, the two-stick aiming, obviously all that stuff holds up because that's still in games today. But like you said, like the level design and like the campaign, I don't think really hold up to this day. I feel like there are a lot better first-person shooter campaigns today, like Titanfall 2, for example. And even like more of the modern Halo games have better campaigns, obviously. The gameplay itself, I think, holds up. Just the campaign, not really. And then multiplayer, I think it's fun for what it is. It's something you can still have fun with to this day, like you guys said earlier. Even though I didn't play it, I had a lot of memories playing it back then, like when I played it in the PC version in high school when we were supposed to be doing the work, but it was still pretty fun with like the whole class playing.
Like, I will give a points for like how much of its mechanics are still true to this day. As simple as moving with the right stick, aiming with the left, and shooting with right trigger.
Swap it.
The fact that someone from today can still get the hang of that right away with this game, whereas like you play like, I don't know, the first Doom, right? Like that's not a traditional shooter.
Putting aside my fanboy of
Yeah.
Sony. Yeah, this game does not age well. Nope.
No, not at all.
It is not held up. Everything, the level designs, aged poorly, just super, super repetitive environments. I don't like the way the gunplay is. I don't know. There's no run. I guess he's always running, as Gaff said. The jumping is whack.
Yeah.
Yeah, the physics in this game are off.
It's like you're on the moon.
There's just a lot of things that are that are so much better today. Like, yeah, everything from physics to gunplay, narrative. Like, there's very, very little narrative in this game. Yeah, I definitely don't think this game held up.
So before we go ranking it, even though it's the only game in here, Gav, can you give us some fun facts that you wrote down and I see here on the doc?
Yes, fun facts.
Sam, you mentioned the physics not aging well, but I think they're pretty innovative for the time. Because this first fun fact has to do with the explosion stuff. So the infamous Warthog jump video, which is a 3-minute video of someone exploiting the game's physics engine to make a Warthog do a series of insane stunts with an exploding grenade. This video would then inspire the founders of Rooster Teeth to create the famed Red vs. Blue web series. Have you guys ever seen Red vs. Blue?
No, but I know about it.
Of course I haven't.
I think it's really funny. And yeah, they're just using machinima to film inside Halo Combat Evolve. And obviously, as the games go on, they switch to new games, but I think it's a really funny series. And obviously, it's still going on, so it's one of the longest going web series ever of all time. Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. I thought they stopped years ago.
The pillar bottom is approximately 1.17 kilometers in length. However, if we take the final Warthog run in the Maw and use that for scale, the length of the pillar bottom would be 3 times that length.
Oh my gosh. I could have used the intro of this game should have just been have you seen Spaceballs?
Only clips.
Oh man. At the beginning of Spaceballs, they do this pan of this giant ship. And it's the first 3 minutes of the movie is just this panning on the ship, and it's great. I wish we would have gotten that here. That would have been awesome.
So you can often hear the elites say, "Wart, wart, wart." You guys notice that as you're playing through?
I thought that was a community fan thing an inside joke in the community. No, they actually do say "wart, wart, wart." I was like, oh, okay.
So that voice clip is actually Sergeant Johnson saying "go, go, go," but in reverse. For every Halo game, actually, no, that's not true. Not for every Halo game, but in most of them, if you beat the game on legendary difficulty, then you unlock a small extra scene for the ending. In this game,
Kingdom Hearts.
So the legendary ending of this game shows Sergeant Johnson and a Gold Elite fighting. When the pillar bottom explodes, the two adversaries put aside their differences and hug each other in the final moments, notably showing Sergeant Johnson moving his hand towards the Elite's lower backside. This scene is considered non-canon.
Boo.
A little broke bad mountain for you.
Why is it non-canon? Boo.
Because spoilers for the next game, Sergeant Johnson's still alive.
Yeah, that's why. That's the biggest reason.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, wait.
It's nothing against men hugging each other intimately, but Sergeant Johnson, he has to live.
He was just trying to get that sweet, sweet alien love. You know?
He can go to Mass Effect for that.
That's true.
Come here, you mother. This is it, baby.
And finally, in the anniversary version of this game, in the Captain's Bridge, you can see on a computer screen the vital signs of a Spartan in a cryotube. That is Linda-051, a member of Blue Team that took a needle during the fall of Reach and was put into stasis until they could fix her. So a little Easter egg for you there.
Interesting.
And that's the end of the fun facts.
All right, so it's time to rank this game, even though it's number 1 currently because it's the only game we have so far. So
wait, how many games? How many games are on this in this franchise that we're doing?
7?
Yeah, I think it's 7. So we have 1,
right.
2, 3, ODST, Reach, 4, and 5. So that's 7 games.
I'm
And
saying
then
we put it at 5.
And then we're also going to be doing Halo Infinite at some point, I guess. So there's that.
I say we put it at number 5.
Number 5, huh?
Is that where you think it's going to end up overall?
I have no idea. I've only played 3 of the games.
Alright, fine.
Yeah, I know this is going to be a little weird because I know you only have a
No, I know.
PC, Sam, so
Put
I
it
don't
at
know how
1.
you're going to play Halo 5.
Oh, it's true.
We'll
Well,
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
The only other
Maybe
thing
I
I can
won't
think of is the
Play
cloud,
it.
but I don't know if you want to play it through the cloud, so there's that.
No. Here we go. Someone streams it for me, and I just watch one of you play it.
Hey, that could work.
That'll be
I
good.
guess so.
Yeah. But yeah, so our current ranking so far is Halo Combat Evolved, number 5, I guess. Number 1.
We'll just put it at number 1.
Yeah,
Just
we'll put it
number
at
1.
number 1 for now.
Yeah.
So
I'm just joking.
yeah, this has been Halo Explored. I've been Eric.
Episode 1.
Yeah, Combat Evolved. I've been Eric. This has been Gaff and Sam also. I'm trying to look for our outro because I didn't write it down, but you can find us on Twitter at @xinteract_. You can also find us on YouTube to find our podcast weekly as well as our episodes for Halo Explored. I'm not sure what the upload schedule is going to be. I'm going to try and upload this episode as soon as possible. I tried to have it due every 2 weeks, but I think since we started this one a little late, we might have to edit that a little bit, but you'll find any updates on that on Twitter whenever we get there. So, again, I've been Eric. It's been Gaff, I think, over there. And then Sam at my bottom. And
On the bottom.
keep exploring them Halos, I guess. I don't know what kind of outro to do.
Just run that to the ground.
I liked it. That was good. Keep
Oh, boy.
exploring that Halo.
Yep. Well, we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya, Spartans. There we go. Something like that. I don't know.
Oh my god.
All right, I'm cutting the video.
Halo. It's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.